is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get JLP on, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PSP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now come rest. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get JLP on.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Well, my Jamaican people, if you notice, showing from a different angle. I hope I don't get any cuts out for it, It's just, we are just trying to step in the system. Right, so having said that, we are going to, today, of course, we have some wonderful topics, but later, we are going to get into more serious topics, right? Bolo VNR 2.0, big up yourself, Bolo, right? People remember to, subscribe to Bolo. Bolo is doing some excellent job, excellent work over there, so please, right, do accordingly. Now, without any further delay, let me just put Sister Pinks to meet and greet as usual. Sister Pinks. All right.
Thank you, Uncle Byron, for having me here again today. And I would like to say good evening to everyone in the chat,
All
from my
right.
leader, our VPs, Gensec, and chairman, chairwoman, and our secretary candidate, and to everyone in St. James, especially my people from Northwest St. James. As you can see today, I'm wearing a t-shirt with our Senator Alan Bernard on the front of it. I'm wearing his cap that we're still campaigning for him. And I would like to say big congrats to our senator, the first from out of Flanker, first from Northwest St. James, and to know that he is in charge of his portfolio's human development. He's also part of the shadow cabinet. He's deputy spokesperson to Angela Brownberg in the portfolio of social protection, and social transformation. Now, if you followed any of his speeches during his campaign, his one of his most famous statements was about how the citizens of Northwest St. James are traumatized for years. And if you know anything about Comrade Alan Bernard, he's the complete opposite of Horace Strang, who is the Minister of Security. Now we have seen recently a repeated spate of police murders, police unaliving people, and the Minister of Security, who is the opponent for Comrade Alan Bernard in Northwest St. James, is in charge of the security, is Minister of National Security, and is in charge of the security portfolio of this nation. And only to say, I have to send my condolences out to the family and friends of Desmond Montague, the latest victim of police killing. From Scene Crescent, the man was sleeping in his bed, half naked, when the police and soldiers stormed his house in the middle day and shot him. And then they claimed that there was a shootout. Scene Crescent in Westmoreland. And citizens of the area were so upset that they gathered around the police and soldiers, and there was a bit of confrontation, and police pepper sprayed some of the people, and a soldier even fired a shot to scare the citizens away. Jamaicans, we all mourn this latest victim, Desmond Montague, who died in his bed. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
You know, that is so sad. I wonder what the police officers' response will be, knowing to the fact that this is a case where someone now had been killed in his bed. Right? When are we are going to say enough is enough as it relates to extra judicial killings in Jamaica? I have spoken about it on my last live, saying that we haven't seen the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister, and the powers that be speaking on these issues. And what they are doing as it relates to a sense of deflection, they are talking about people shooting at police and, how sophisticated the force is, and the force will not, down on anyone on the police, right? Sometimes the police, I mean, come on. We are yet to hear the relevant authorities address these situations. It can't be that police officers have the license to kill. What happened to the criminal justice system? What happened to the judiciary? What happened to the prosecutor? It doesn't make any sense. We even have a criminal justice system. Because when you look at this, right? What are the reasons that we have these established protocols as it relates to the judiciary? Why we have these structures set up? Why we have the criminal justice system? Right? And then we have police officers going out there, right? Killing people at will. Remember, I know, we are saying that, you have good police officers. A lot of police officers who are doing wonderful in their job in terms of executing the law in the tandem of the law. However, for them and those who believe that they can be judge, jury, and executioner, that is a fundamental problem. That is a fundamental problem. And the thing that hurt me so much is to the fact that this government involved in corruption. This government, as it relates to allegation, involved in drugs operation. This government, as we know it, under investigation by the Integrity Commission investigators. This government, as we know it, roughly about 11 or 12 members of parliament currently under investigation, including the Prime Minister for corruption. So then, do they have the moral authority in terms of want to, eliminate corruption from the country when they themselves involved in corruption? Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Let us dive in our program. Now, let me tell you something. We have seen that the Jamaica Labour Party had gained a third term. And Jamaica, it is going to be a third term of embarrassment. Series of embarrassment that is going to rock this government. Unbelievable. Now, let me just get into the economy. That is what we need to speak on, you know. And people need to understand the status of the economy. It is not a good look. Absolutely not a good look. And then for all them and those who are hiding the situation in terms of how bad the situation is, it's only making the situation worse. I am anticipating that they should come out, right, and call a spade a spade. The economy is in a very serious, serious turmoil. My people, I want to share some of these documents for you to read by for yourself. And you know, when Mystic Sensation, right, speaking, we like to reference documents from main media or from legitimate source so that we stay in line of credibility and transparency and bring about facts to our platform, right? That's why we have a pink skew. That's why we have a melting pot. That's why you have a Mystic Sensation, because we believe that the information that we are processing has to be factual. So let us look and show you some of the situation that we are seeing. It doesn't look good, my people. So let me share this with you. And I want you to listen to the Prime Minister. Listen to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister cannot get along in terms of continuing to tell Jamaican people lies. That is a problem that we have. Listen to this, my people.
Cash transfers to household, because genuinely that should happen. If the country is earning, what, the country shouldn't keep everything in its central bank account. It should put it in household accounts and let households enjoy it, which is what we're saying. But I said to an audience, so Guyana discovered oil and they are able to do this. What did we discover to get this additional revenue to do all of these things? Tell me, what was it that we discovered?
I remember when you said that.
Good economic management can yam.
Yeah.
It can drink. It has value. Pay attention to it. Vote for it, because every developed country has recognized that. It's the economy.
Right.
And that is what I've dedicated my last 9 years doing, ensuring that the economy stays on track. It is not easy. Every MP who goes into their constituent, somebody says, see the road, I don't have water, demonstrations, threatening that they're not going to vote. What do you think happened? They come back to me and they say, Prime Minister, if you don't do this, people are going to rebel and not. And it is that political pressure that the people believe is in their interest that creates the dynamic that got us into the rut that we fell into for the last 50 years. So
Okay.
does take, so people look at my job and they
because this is what we are talking about. The lies, right? The lies. Now, my Jamaican people, as it relates to what the Prime Minister said, good fiscal discipline. And what he's not telling the Jamaican people, right? Let us deal with common sense here. 2012 to 2016, the People's National Party, under the administration of Portia Simpson, right, and Dr. Peter Phillips, managed a budget, a total budget expenditure of over $600 billion. Jamaican people, we could use common sense, we could reason. Andrew Holness took over, and remember, you know, it is Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips, Dr. Peter Phillips, who have to fix the economy. When Andrew Holness' administration took over in 2016, they have now doubled the budget to $1.3 trillion. Budgetary expenditures for the Jamaica Labour Party, 1.3. Ask yourself the question, where that additional over 130% increase came from. Money don't fall from sky. It has to come from tax. Where they had shifted and tricked the people from direct tax to indirect taxes. Come on, make a reason. And the Prime Minister sell a narrative that my government run without any new tax. What the Prime Minister is not telling the people that the established taxes that have been there, the Prime Minister increased them. So whether you want to 6 or 1, half dozen or the other, whether you want to put in new taxes, or you want to increase on the established taxes, it makes no difference. People are going to be paid more.
Right.
And inflation rises. Let us reason again, people. The Prime Minister is disingenuous to say that as it relates to his administration, in the history of our politics, is his administration raise minimum wage to $16,000. The Prime Minister is not speaking the reality, because what the Prime Minister should be speaking on, the Prime Minister should be speaking on purchase power versus inflation. The Prime Minister will never have a conversation like that, because he knows if he's going to have a conversation like that, he's going to lose. Because obviously, between the period 2012 to 2016, right, the minimum wage was $6,000 under Portia Simpson. However, inflation was manageable. The purchasing power was stronger between then and now. As I said, the question, how much was it for one bread between 2012 to 2016? And how much it is for that same bread under Andrew Holness administration as it relates to 16,000 minimum wage? Then people will realize that what Andrew Holness is saying is rubbish, garbage, 100% garbage, filth, doesn't make sense. Now, let me show you why it doesn't make sense. If Andrew Holness so-called have managing the economy and the economy is vibrant, look at this next clip. Let us presume that the economy, as according to him, right, is vibrant. Look at this clip. Here it is, people. Here it is. Show you signs that the economy is collapsing. Let me zoom it up so you can see it, my people. Let me zoom it up so you can see it. Okay, I think you can see that. Now, all Jamaicans, 50 Chinese laid off as Western Children's Hospital almost finished. Errol Green, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, has confirmed that all Jamaicans workers and 50 unskilled Chinese workers are no longer employed on the construction site of the new multi-billion-dollar project. This confirmation was provided by Green regarding the employment status of these workers. Right? Let me tell you something, people. Why am I showing that? Let me talk to you, Jamaica. As it relates to Mr. Green being the healthcare permanent secretary.
Yeah.
Let me ask the question again. I am asking the question. What happened to Dunstan Bryan? Bangarang is going to be, as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party administration. What happened to Dunstan Bryan? Now, you are going to tell me that Dunstan Bryan, who was then the permanent secretary, gone on study leave. Remember that a permanent secretary position, you're looking about $10 to $11 million per annum. So then why Dunstan Bryan to go on a study leave, right, is going to leave $10, $11 million per year? And where Green now is permanently employed. So make it stop from Food Jamaica. Andrew want to stop from Food Jamaica. Dunstan Bryan is out because the healthcare is in trouble. Dunstan Bryan is out because Dunstan Bryan cannot answer as it relates to what Auditor General had found out. Over $700 billion unaccounted for. The good reason as to why Dunstan Bryan is out. And so then the trickery is not going to work on Jamaican people because we are here to educate them. So you take out Dunstan Bryan because Dunstan Bryan is not to make, to answer, right, the corruption. And you push out Dunstan Bryan. And you put in Mr. Green. Mr. Green don't know anything about the corruption that Dunstan Bryan went on with. Mr. Green doesn't know anything, you know. So obviously, let me get back to you now, Ministry of Health, right? Christopher Tufton. Let me get back to you. You have said that Cornwall Regional Hospital, as it relates to projected costs. I am talking in terms of what you said. Projecting costs of $23 billion. And as according to you, you have already spent $9 billion. So let me ask you. No money did ever pay the Chinese. It is in the pipeline that more Chinese across the island are going to lay down them tools as well. You know? What is going on? Why you don't come out and tell Jamaica what is going on? Now, if as according to you, I am saying what you said, that $23 billion is a projected cost, then how the Chinese can get paid?
Thank you.
How the Cornwall Regional Hospital can't finish. And let me tell you, and let me tell Jamaica, they are going to people who are working at the Chinese who are working at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. So stop. So what is going on? Where's the money? Where is the money? From out of a protracted amount of 23 billion, 9 billion, right, has already been utilized. So the rest of it. So you are going to say to Jamaica that you are going to spend roughly about 20 years, said 15 years, first term, second term, third term. And you are going to spend that amount of time on the Cornwall Regional Hospital that began refurbishing from 2016 cannot be finished. Come on, Jamaica. Cannot be finished. Where the money there? And Daryl Vaz, me here run out and talk about school, but no, you keep quiet, you know. Because I'm going to deal with you, you know. I'm going to deal with you, you know. Because you want to be wrong and strong. So I'm going to deal with you. So I'm arrest of you a while. We're not ready for you in this program here. But you are going to tell me, Jamaica. You are going to tell me, look at it, Jamaica, taxpayers' money. $23 billion had allotted projected cost for this project. The refurbishing of Cornwall Regional Hospital as according to Tufton. Right? 9 billion spent. And we have seen Chinese being laid off. No money in the budget to pay them. It appears, let me say that. Other Chinese are going to be laying off shortly. What is going on? What is going on, Jamaica? Jamaica Labour Party have a third term. Now watch this now, people. Look where I'm going. Because we have to serious with this, you know. I soon bring in Sister Spinks, but I'm just setting the background. You understand? Now, look at this, people. Mr. Sensation is telling you that Jamaica is in trouble. Problem. Sit here, not telling any lie. Look at this, people. You let me just mark this as I go along. Here the concerned people. Cap it. That is the subheading, no. Cap it. EPOC chair calls for government to rein in public sector wage growth. Want to hear that, people? Want to hear that, people? Now, as the government prepares to enter ISAT's wage negotiations with public sector unions to hammer out a compensation package for the 3 years from 2025 to 2028, Keith Duncan, chairman of Economic Program Oversight Committee, you know, is sounding a warning that the country's ballooning public sector wage bill must be reined in to prevent a devastating blow to the nation's decade-long, hard-won economic gains. We could go in here with Jamaican people. When we say Andrew Holness deserve third term, so we could go in here. Duncan hosting his final meeting as head of EPOC on Friday sounded the alarm on the spiraling public sector wage bill, noting that it has grown from consuming about 36% of tax revenues in 2021 to 2022, right? Inclusive of the Prime Minister big raising to in Parliament. Fiscal year and is now devouring 45% of tax revenues. You know, hear that, people? This is normal, enough. So of all the tax collections, right, 36% going to pay towards public sector workers. Try and understand the document, you know. And now it is now devouring 45% of tax revenues, you know. Mighty God. And the country is not producing. The country is not growing. The country is now importing 5 times the ratio of 5 to 1 as it relates to what they are importing as per what they are exporting. So then we are in a trade deficit of over $5.8 billion per annum. So all the country is growing. All the country is growing, Andrew Holness, when we are not doing anything as it relates to export that goes to manufacturing and producing so that we can reduce the amount that we are importing. Andrew Holness, have you seen the numbers, sir? We are exporting $1.8 billion. How much are we importing? Over $5.7 billion. the trade deficit, you know, Mr. Andrew. So how the country is going to sustain? Now, the other day, you came out with your parliamentary selection and your cabinet, right? And over $700 million have to sustain that. So Mark Golden show you that he cared for the people, right? And when you look between you and Mark Golden, it show you how jealous you are, that you have no love for the Jamaican people, in spite of an economy that can't even walk. The economy is crawling. The economy is crawling, sir. And you come with your lies, talking about you are going to increase minimum wage from 16% to 32%. From 16,000 to $32,000 per week. You are going to raise minimum wage for 16,000 to 32,000 per week within the 5-year span. Beginning next year, it will be going to $18,000. That's what you're saying. This is why, you understand, the oversight committee is warning you. Now, there are a lot of uncertainties around the growth trajectory for Jamaica. You see the same thing we are talking about in the near to medium term, and therefore one has to take in account for that, because it reduces the physical flexibility the government of Jamaica has to deal with, right, as it relates to other programs. So then, let me ask, how are we planning to increase public sector wage when the economy is not producing? How are we going to do that? But the people have voted for you as it relates to your false promise. And this is what they love me. Sorry for them. Sorry for backside them. You don't know how them are going to manage it. I'm sorry for them, you know. Sorry for our Jamaican people. Right? But I believe that we have many Jamaican people who are following us, listening to us, and take heed. And over a period of time, we are going to change that political paradigm, right? Where we believe that our belly, right, is going to carry through. It never work. Let me tell you something, Jamaican people. Education is the way to go. Education is the only success that a poor man has. Because when you are educated, you have now achieved more than a milestone. You can help yourself and help your family, for them also to become educated. We must move away from the system of politics as it relates to dependency. We must not, in settings or in a mood of begging a fish, but we must learn to become fishermen, where we can go out and fish for ourselves. And we only can do that through the process of education. No scamming, no drugs. Education is the key. I am so proud today as it relates to Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso, who build a reliance on education, pushing back against crony capitalism, the IMF, the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, who have tricked us for years, giving us loans setting austerity measures to kill social programs so that we can continue to maintain, to become dependable. Jamaica, I am warning you, education is the key. Now let us look on this again, and then, of course, I bring in my sister Spinks to speak on the matter because we have bangarang in a people. You know, always, Mr. Sensation always have bangarang in a. Right? So let us get into this. Right? Let us get into this here, my people. I'll share it for you. Now listen, people.
Jamaican businessman and former president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the JMEA, John Mahfood, is calling for significant job cuts in the public sector in order to move the country's growth agenda forward. He made the call in a media release earlier this week. With the JLP securing a third term in office amidst persistent low growth, the businessman says it cannot be business as usual. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
The former JMEA president says the Jamaican economy cannot afford another 5 years of stagnation. According to Mr. Mahfood, many Jamaicans still recall the much-touted JLP promise of 5 in 4. That's 5% GDP growth in 4 years, which never materialized. He says with a renewed mandate, it would be folly for the government to simply continue business as usual and expect a different result. Mr. Mahfood says urgent action is needed. He outlined 9 measures he believes can jumpstart the economy. The first is reducing the cost of the public sector from 13% of GDP to 10% over the next 5 years. He says Jamaica's public sector wage bill has swelled after recent compensation reviews, which is crowding out resources that could otherwise fund development programs. It's for this very reason that Mr. Mahfood says the government cannot afford to increase public sector wages at this time. He's also...
All right, let's just take that away, people. This is what brings me to the core. And let me talk. Can artist Michael Leachin and can artist Andrew Wones came out trick Jamaican people about 5 in 4. Them never tell Jamaican people about 2 in 3. So while them trick Jamaican people about 5 in 4, him and Andrew Wones run 2 in 3. And when we say 2 in 3, both of them, as it relates to cash plus, as it relates to Orient, as it relates to SSL, the 2 in 3 work for them because them becomes billionaire robbing investors. Don't let me get grief today. Don't get on top of my nerves now. So the 5 in 4 no work because that only use flight gate, fillet in the pirate. What you people are dealt with is the 2 in 3. Both on cash plus, holding, SSL, and the trick investors, rob them out of their money. We never tell the people, we never tell Jamaican people about 2 in 3. A 2 in 3, I couldn't reach and becomes billionaire. So the 2 in 3 work, and the 5 in 4 fail. Now, let me back and put in none other than Lady Spinks. Lady Spinks, talk about things.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Byron. Now, you mentioned about Andrew campaigning on no new taxes. And I do agree with you. No new taxes or just increasing the existing taxes equals to the same thing. Exactly. And I would like my Jamaicans to remember during the 2 years of COVID, how much money the government made off people who broke the rules and regulations of the COVID. And I would like to remind my Jamaicans how many people who drive vehicles, drivers, had to pay in the increases in their tickets under this government. You go to traffic court right now in Jamaica and you see a longer line of people there than anywhere else. Those people are paying taxes. Drivers are paying taxes and they have increased. Tickets have increased. Now, let me remind my Jamaicans that this month the toll prices were increased during the month of October, and from last month they told us that the toll prices in Jamaica would be increased, which means goods and services will be increased because it has to be translated to everything that comes through the toll. Now, let us mention Dunstan Bryan again. Dunstan Bryan, you can run but you can't hide. Many Jamaicans probably don't realize that every ministry is required to submit a yearly report to Parliament. And since this government has been in power, the Ministry of Health has not made any report to Parliament. And that is why our Auditor General could say 700 billion is unaccounted for under that ministry. Now, I would like to ask my Permanent Secretary, Errol Green, this question. Who is going to finish the children's hospital now in Montego Bay? Now that the Chinese have walked out, are fired officially after not being paid 6 months straight. Are they going to bring in another set of Chinese to complete this job? Because the building is up, you know. The shell of the building is up. Therefore, what about the interior and the finishing of the building? Who is going to do it? Are you going to have another company? Now, when we look at the 23 billion that was final slated projection of the cost for the hospital, Cornwall Vision Hospital, and according to Tufton, only 9 billion was spent. What happened to the balance of the 14 billion? Where is it, Tufton?
Exactly.
Why were the Chinese not paid for 6 months? And which company is going to come in now and take over that project, knowing that the previous workers were not paid and yet they were sent home? Were they paid before they were sent home? Was the matter settled? Are they going to be paid in the future? We need to know what's going to be happening because it makes no sense. You have a staff, they are working for years, and you don't pay them for 6 months, and you expect another company to come in and continue the contract. The same thing that will happen at Spanish Hospital might happen right here with the Children's Hospital. We left there unfinished for the next couple of years or until the PNP comes into power. Now, Mahfoud made a statement recently to back up that statement that was made some years ago. And I do agree with Mahfoud because the private sector cannot afford to increase any more salaries right now, to take an increase in salaries right now. Now, Lisa Hanna made a statement recently about protein poverty in Jamaica. And she compared the import duties of lobster to the import duties of chicken. The import duties of chicken is much more higher, and most Jamaicans eat chicken. Lobster is a luxury item, and yet the luxury item is cheaper to import than the chicken. That does not make any sense. And remember, in Jamaica, we still are importing, right now we're importing horses tax-free. Does that make sense? Jamaicans were importing horses for free, but yet we're importing chicken with taxes. Chicken, the chicken back, the chicken part that we eat is imported, and it costs more money to import the chicken. The chicken back here in Jamaica costs more than it would cost in America. If we work it out, the exchange rate, it's more expensive in Jamaica to buy chicken back than chicken back in America. Now, our GenSec has also said that during his campaign about food shortages in Jamaica, the import duties on most of the food, and the fact that most of the foods imported into Jamaica are friends and family. Most of the food imported into Jamaica are given the licenses to these import duties. Sorry, the licenses to import food in Jamaica is given to most of the friends and family of the Jamaica Labour Party. So they benefit, and that is why they do not want our local farmers to succeed in farming. And if you look at the island, 14 parishes, there is no water in the pipes. Farmers are suffering because they have no water to water their crops. And this shortage in food in our production here forces more import of food into our country, and it benefits them, not us. We have no food security in Jamaica. Most people in Jamaica can't even afford a balanced diet, and balanced diet is what will keep us healthy. To keep us healthy, if you can't afford food and you eat a bad diet, you will get sick. And if you get sick, where are we going to go? Because we have no good hospitals here in Jamaica. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right, thank you for that, Sister Spinks. Now, let us get into some serious subject matter. Again, let me say big up to Damien Crawford, who coined the phrase,
one by one,
they'll be going to jail. Now, Jamaica, this is serious. Now, let me just say this. Again, that Tuesday we see them play around Parliament. Now, the Integrity Commission investigators had sent them a love letter where they're supposed to, right, have tabled it last Tuesday for it to be read out. However, my people, they dance around that. Now, coming next Tuesday, let us see what type of dance that they are going to dance to. So last week, we have seen that they danced to them big friend music, dance to the rhythm and tech with themselves. Jamaica, let me tell you something. This proves as it relates to the level of corruption with Andrew Holness. Remember when I came out and I said times and times again that, the criminal justice system, the judiciary works. Believe it, people. You're going to have one and few little things. Yes. I mean, nobody perfect. They're not going to get it right all the time. But I can guarantee you that more than 85% of the time, the judiciary is going to come through. Now, let me show you that when the case go into the judiciary, people are going to get flagged. Now, let us get into this. Let me share this, people. And then, because I am telling you, Jamaica, it's serious for Andrew Holness administration ahead. No two way about it. No two way about it. Right? So you make me going on it. Guilty, Ex-financial controller, co-defendants convicted in 222 million in sports scam. Jamaica, let me tell you something. When we say that my well-learned friends in the judiciary, they are going to do the job that they expected to do as it relates to the majority of them. And so then, me not really worry. Yes, I am not going to worry about certain outcome from once it touch in the judiciary, because we know say it work. Former in sport financial controller and party promoter Andrew Wright, along with two co-defendants, right? Co-defendants were found guilty of multiple fraud-related charges yesterday in the Home Circuit Court, stemming from a 222 million scheme uncovered at the state-run agency. Now, when we tell us that corruption rig Andrew Warner's administration, the verdicts were handed down by Justice Anne-Marie Lawrence Granger following a nearly year-long trial. Well, let me tell you something. Royal Reid, just line up yourself, because you're next in line. October 26th. Just go on, do some exercise and go on, do some, and walk places where you never walk. Because you might, in a situation where those places you will not be seeing them for a very long time. I will advise you to call your loved ones before October 6th. Hug them and kiss them. Right known for staging events such as Chugget and French Connection, was convicted on 10 counts of conspiracy to defraud, along with 1 count each of engaging in a criminal transaction, corruption, and facilitating the retention of criminal property. 2 of Wright's co-accused, Rodolph Barnes and O'Neill Hope, were also convicted. Me tell you, say, the judiciary is ramping up. Why you think many of the times Paula Llewellyn must get grieved with me? I said, the boy, they can't have one call my name now. Me not left out of the people's office already. No, Paula Llewellyn, me not have one call in name, so you can go and chat. What make you think, say, like Paula Llewellyn, right? Never put the president for the National Water Commission in the court. And she just make it us ride out of the court without putting it in the judiciary. Because Paula knows that if she had put it into the judiciary, he would have gotten slapped. Paula don't know that. You unbiased political operative and I go like a political operative. You know, sir, you may have chat in a Paula. Now, so when you look at the level of corruption, right? Many of those cases, Paula Llewellyn deals with selective justice. Am I lying? You know what's true? Selective justice. Right? Selective justice. Now, 2 of Wright's co-accused, Rodolph Barnes and O'Neill Hope, were also convicted. Barnes was found guilty of 10 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 1 count of corruption, while Hope was convicted on 6 conspiracy charges and 1 count of acquiring criminal property. All 3 men have been remanded and are scheduled for sentencing on November 21. No line up on yourself, you know. Me you not talk about appeal. Me you not talk about appeal. But let me talk to you. You can't appeal it, you know. You can't appeal it. But that no means you people are going to win the appeal. Because remember, you know, and let me talk to people. Let me talk to people and make people understand as it relates to appeal case. Remember in appeal court, you know, it's not like they tried over in the case, you know. They look on procedural breakdown. Procedural breakdown, let me remind you. Right? Like procedural breakdown as it relates to Paula Llewellyn's case, as it relates to a Tampa jury. Paula Llewellyn, you hear much time I call her name. That's what I love calling her name. Right? That sort of procedural breakdown when President said that if you have a Tampa jury, you're supposed to dismiss the entire jury. Right? Now, in this particular case, right, as it relates to my public opinion, let me say, I don't see the form of procedural breakdown in this. The case centered on allegations that the trial, let me read it out. I don't see the procedural breakdown in this. The case centered on allegations that the trial, as a part of wider network of current and former in-sport employees, orchestrating the creation and encashment of fraudulent checks made out to individuals who were neither employed by nor contracted to the agency. So how not is going to happen? Moon man no carry go there, you know, because of course more want to lose all our money. And the lawyer them, you understand, me not really put no stumbling block in them way, you know. Make them go and eat food because the lawyer them know say who the carry that privy, who the carry this guy privy council. Me can't tell you no say you nah go win this. Any procedural breakdown in this. Eh? Look here, sir. Look at this paragraph. Look at this paragraph. The case centered on allegation that the trial, as a part of wider network of current and former in-sport employees, orchestrated the creation and encashment of fraudulent checks made out to individuals who were neither employed by nor are contracted to the agency. What sort of ruling you want the Privy Council rule upon this? Eh? A strong evidence is in. Material evidence in. Follow the money this in. Someone want to know that. Now, the scheme came to light following a 2017 internal audit, which led to a referral to the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency. The agency launched a lengthy investigation, ultimately resulting in the arrest and charges. Wright was taken into custody in April 2023 while appearing before the Industrial Dispute Tribunal in an unrelated, wrongful dismissal case. Right? So, let us take this away. Let me stop share this. Because through me no say, you understand, I am quite strategic. And when me try to look for procedural error in that, me no see none. Also, we have Sister Pinks drop on as soon as you come back. So let me go short, me I go now. And warn them here. So in that case, it's a victory for Jamaica. Victory for Jamaica. We don't ramp with them, you know. One by one, they'll be going to jail. Now, let me share this to my Jamaican people again, my Jamaican peeps. Let me talk to them, man. The man want to hear my voice this morning, you know. The man want to hear my voice. Let me give him some advice this morning. Line up yourself, my boss. Right? Line up yourself. We have less than 1 week to deal with you. You come in front of the class. Judge denies further delay in Royal Reed case of a delay go. Where delay they go? Eh? Now after we have 85% of evidence, we can't make them talk about 15% of evidence. You understand? You don't want to take it back out of the court. He can't come out back out of the court. You know? He can't come out back out of the court. So let me go in now. You see his face? What a handsome fellow. Father God, no like people who are so handsome, you know. Let me go down. After 6 years of delays, the multi-million-dollar fraud case against former Education Minister Royal Reid and his co-accused will proceed on October 6th. Oh, your name? Nothing can tap it. Nothing can tap the people's case. Nothing can tap the people's case. And the people them cases, you know. I want you. I feel the children them cases, you know. Yes. The children who have make them suffer disadvantage. Right? There is so much school program. You have to pay for this. Despite prosecutors' request for time to locate witnesses, 15% of them the witness there. Eh? Let me tell you something. The 85% that we have, you make sure say transactional document as it relates to bank statement and this and that and bank account and money are going to bank account and then can explain it. I will take him on. Trelawny Parish Judge Vaughan Facey refused the application to push the trial to February 2026. Now, what are they? The Jamaican people in the city, what are they? Mr. Facey not around for them, you know. Because Mr. Facey, you know, he not eat nobody yard. So whether I would like it or not, make sure say October the 6th, when you come in at this and talk about things them what need to talk up. Insisting the matter must begin as scheduled. Or you mean? 15% of witness missing in rural retreat. We do business with them. We do business with them, you know. But case to proceed and schedule. You make me take with that. You make me take with that. You make me take with that, you know. Because I don't know where they might go with that. Me don't know where they might go with that, you know. Me don't know where they might go with that. Eh? And you want to just relax, man. Your extended arm has limited. They will say everybody, your corruption, you understand, is going to subdue. No, man, you have credible people here. Come on. And when you meet credibility, hush. What the Gen 6 say? Catch. Yes, man. When you meet credible people, catch. Let me get a look at what the Gen 6 say. So then, I am looking forward to hear the children's cry. Because we are anticipating that judgment, justice must be done. But I'm glad how it started. I'm glad how it started out. And so we prison three of them already. Yeah, we start to wipe from out in sports. Love how it start. So may I tell you, say, judiciary, love your bad. Let me bring in Sister Spinks to talk about things them. Sister Spinks.
Yeah, I apologize for the internet connection a while ago. Thanks for having me, Uncle Byron. You see how long it took this case to go through the court?
Yes.
And it finally happened. And that is why I keep telling my comrades to have faith. Not everybody can be corrupted. Not everybody can be bought.
Exactly.
Not everybody will bow to Andrew and his corrupt government. There are still good people in our system, from the police, the soldiers, our judges, our jury, our lawyers, the prosecutors. There are still good people in the system. They might be few, but there are still good people there. And we must hold on strong. And I'm happy that this case finally was tried and brought to justice. And we have Royal Reid and Andrew this month to deal with.
Huh?
So let us hold course and remember, no matter how long they try to delay the future IC reports coming in, they will be tabled. Because let me remind Jamaicans this, it's over a year ago. Andrew's the IC report regarding Andrew was actually tabled And what he did was when it was supposed to be tabled, he took a trip to India that wasn't scheduled on his schedule. He went with Kamina Johnson to India, and he was not supposed to go there. The trip was only for Kamina Johnson to go to India to open a Jamaican embassy. But Andrew piggybacked onto that trip to avoid facing the parliament, sorry. Anytime, let's say Andrew avoid parliament, is to avoid the questions being asked. And that is one way we know that he's guilty, because he's trying to avoid everything. You see how long him have the IC in court and dilly-dallying all of this thing, knowing what is to come forward, come in the future. He's trying to avoid. And we know he's just trying to delay what's going to happen. Because delaying judgment, it does not matter how long it takes, it will come. God on time. God on time, one by one, they're going to jail. And I look forward to you, Uncle Byron.
Blessing, blessing, blessing. Now, someone in the chat said, ISAT said, the Chuggit boss is going to win his appeal. Well, me and Isaac are brethren, you know. But, you know, and Isaac is the person who is a professional lawyer. But, of course, I give my opinion, right? And so then, what Isaac said, it's okay. But also what Mystic said, it's also okay. Right? And me I said, the Chuggit boss, now we're in the appeal. That me I said. All right. Now we're going to some serious things. Jamaica, I am going to go through some clips. And I remember prior to the election, when I was touching some of these clips, some of my subscribers, and I understand where they are coming from, let me say that. Say, Byron, don't waste any time on them. But if I followed my subscribers, I didn't follow them up. But if I had gotten the opportunity, I would. Knowing to the fact that I had left them alone and they create some serious damage. Some serious damage. So I am going to show you. You understand that these people cannot be left alone. And when them come out with a certain narrative, we have to make sure so we fix it. A social media listener. And sometimes what happens on social media, things go viral. Simply means it takes on life. It takes on life. And people believe it. And if you don't have a narrative to counter that, it stay out there and it grows big. Now let me show you something. But before I get into that, I am going to show you the level of carelessness and worklessness with the Jamaica Labour Party administration in terms of who they affiliated with. They are affiliated with some of the most dangerous criminals. And right now, I am so puzzled that Jamaica Labour Party has a dangerous criminal within their midst that they even want for him to run for councillorship. Can you imagine? And yet this man is wanted enough. Now look at the level of slackness. This man is wanted. And I'm not joking. And the Jamaica Labour Party members of Parliament, including Andrew Wallace, being associated with this man, and they know that he's wanted. So I am asking myself the question, why the police, as it relates to Mocha, another police, who knows that this man wanted, don't go and arrest this man. This man was given bail and serious charges in robbery. And this man, now, look at this, people. Look at this. Look at this madness here. Look at this madness. Let's look at this.
John the Baptist were in love with Mary Magdalene.
Not
And do you know that John the Baptist baptized Jesus? And do you know that John the Baptist take away Jesus' wife, Mary Magdalene? That's why God making there.
Not a thing, no, sir.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Say it, come on, come on. No, 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 no. I want to go. Put me up. Put me up tonight. There is problem in the house. The Bible is at war. Prophet Rowe is opening the book. The Bible said, God said, leave him alone. They want to keep the laws and keep laws and order in the land. But when Jesus appeared, Jesus said, no law, no orders.
Take this away. Take this away. I'm only showing the madness. Jamaica, this is not funny, you know. Let me tell you why this is not funny. Let me tell you why this is not funny, Jamaica. This is a legal scammer under the cover of a pastor. We all heard what he said. Right? John the Baptist take away Jesus' wife. This filthiness, madness. To all who, you know, being influenced by this man, really and truly has no brain cell. But the thing that I am talking about is the Jamaican Labour Party that know that this man is a criminal. This man is a scanner. Well, I mean, should I say that I should expect Andrew to separate himself when Andrew One is in a cash plus, holding an SSL? No, well, I mean, I shouldn't be looking for better, right? Okay, so well, I said birds together flock together. Birds of one feather flock together. Well, that seems to be the case right here, right? Now, let me show the evidence, people, that this man is wanted. This man is wanted. And why the police officers are not pursuing this man? Now let us show it. This man is a wanted man. Let us show the evidence. And let me bring it up. Let me zoom it up so people can see it big. This man is a wanted man. Pastor arrested while preaching. A pastor was on Tuesday arrested by Manchester police while he was preaching at a church on Ward Avenue in Mandeville. The police say that Roy Del Roe, otherwise called Prophet, was charged for illegal possession of firearm and robbery with aggravation in 2008 and was convicted on both offenses. However, according to reports, he appealed both cases and was granted bail. Since then, the police say the pastor has not returned to court. Hey, we can't make up this, people. It is reported that the Court of Appeal made an order that he be arrested and taken to prison to serve his sentence. So come and talk, Jamaica people. Come back and talk. Make a reason this out. You have this man still present in Mandeville. He's not hiding. Opening church. Preaching. Weekly. JLP Administration. You know that Radel Rowe is still wanted. Why? Why? You are not pursuing him to have him arrested. Why the Jamaica Labour Party administration still allow Radel Rowe to continue to do what he's doing? He aligned with the party, right? We saw him with former Finance Minister Arlie Shaw and their campaigning for Jamaica Labour Party. We saw him with Andrew Holness. So what is going on? What is going on? This man was charged for illegal possession of firearm and robbery. And yet, this administration sending police in people's house without any warrant. And have them executed extrajudicially. Right? You tell me, and you have Radel Rowe. Not only that, Radel Rowe charged. Radel Rowe was put through the court system and found guilty. Guilty. He appealed the case and then never turned up to court and out here preaching. So why did Jamaica Labour Party now lock him up? Umbrella Group of Church. What are you saying about this? Dead silence? Why Radel Rowe continue to scam Jamaican people? Let me ask. PSOJ, I don't need to talk to Andrew Holness about this. This man needs to be arrested. This man needs to be arrested. Let me hear back and bring in my sister. Come in, sister speaks.
I want to ask the umbrella of churches a question. What is your purpose? What purpose do you serve in the society? What is your mandate? How many times you're going to have fanatics like this come across into our country or from our country or set up church anywhere and do whatever they want to con people? We all know the history of Kevin Smith's story, and it was after his death and all the incidents, and after the incident of helping people or directing people to commit murder. When all that became public, it was then we started to find out about his backstory and his history with the law and his history, a messy history. And we see the same thing here again. Because I have heard about this man's role, messy personal history also, something about his wife and his personal life is also messy. There's not no. And you find, and I have to agree with you, birds of a feather flock together. We saw him on the campaign trail. We saw him being was asked to be in a position of in politics also. Jamaica Labour Party, what are you doing to our nation? We saw Andrew went to India and pick up an Indian seer or a guru We see them mix up already in one election campaign in Westmoreland, jumping Pocomania, Malahu and Andrew. We have seen the videos of them setting table, Terrelong and Grange jumping Pocomania and as well as Desmond Mackenzie. They are spiritually lost as far as I'm concerned. And the Bible talk about discernment of spirits. We must try the spirit, test the spirit, and we have to be careful of people who come around us and claim that they are spiritual leaders. We have to be careful about people who come around us and claim that they are pastors or some other spiritual leader, because you have to be careful of who you let into your house and who you let into your life. We have enough experience to know when people are lying. And that sermon, what he's preaching from his pulpit about John the Baptist told Mary Magdalene's wife of Jesus. That message, where did you get that from? And this is why it is very important in this day of information, when people supposed to can read and write and use YouTube, go and educate yourself about the Bible so you know when foolishness come when you hear foolishness. Even after Kevin Smith's death, people were talking about some of the messages and some of the things he was saying from the pulpit. And I said they couldn't realize he was talking foolishness. You understand me? There's always some signal, things just don't happen overnight. You watch these signals, you watch out for these little red flags. I have been to churches, many churches in Jamaica, and once I see a red flag, because I'm not a fool, I stop attending that church. And I'm serious about it. Because no pastor, nobody is going to stand on a pulpit and preach foolishness to me. And I don't pick it up. Walk with the spirit of discernment. Walk with the common sense and pick sense out of nonsense. Not everybody who say they are pastors are pastors. Read between the lines and people be careful. Because spiritual wickedness is there. It is there. And con artists are so easy to find out, because one thing I know about life is this. You can never con an honest person. Honest people always pick up things. And dishonest people always group up together. As Uncle Byron does remind us and say, birds of a feather flock together. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron.
All right. Blessing my sister Pinks with that punch. Now, Jamaica. Where am I going from here? Now, let me tell you something. Later, when we run out in a sea or something, so people want to tune in later. Because, say we push back the tougher items, right, on the 7 p.m. You understand? So, the tougher items will be coming back on the 7 p.m. shift. So, please tune in. All right. So, we have some serious things to discuss, right? 7 p.m. Now, let me get into this and share this, my Jamaican people. Now, look at this piece of mess here. Look at this piece of mess here. And, and this is why Jamaica must understand that when it comes to comrade leader Mark Goley, when we say integrity boss, we mean say integrity boss. The person who I'm going to show is someone who loves the hustling ability. And because him now get it from the People's National Party, right? She found refuge over Jamaica Labour Party and create name, lies, and speak evil. This woman is one of the most vicious women, trust me, in living colors. And I'm not joking. Knowing that what she's saying is lie, bitterness, and evil, but yet you still say it. You understand? It's all about the highest bidder. You understand who can deliver? You understand some food? And she's willing to bring down her nation. Unbelievable. Now look at this.
Then we forget what them do to Peter Phillips. Make we mash up the PNP and they will build it back in 5 years. Mash up. Can you imagine sitting down and talk about you mash up an organization, just all of them? Mash it up just to get power. And we talk about who want to give them this country to mash it up too? What wrong with you? Something wrong with the brain? We're not talking about what happened to Uno and the party. What party? There is no party. There is just them. There's no party. Nothing. There is just them. Seeking power. Always seeking power. More power. You have no idea how many PNP people out here planning to vote for them JLP candidate. I don't even think you know wrap that around on the head yet. You know? I don't think you get it yet. I don't think you get the exodus yet about what will take place. There are only for PNP people who need nothing with Uno. Stacey Knight is a riser. Of course she is. She was a part of the disciplinary committee. How did she get there? There must have been a deal between she and them for something. But one, as an MP, KD Knight, who knew my mother, KD Knight, who me and him spar at NEC meeting, he was about once and I meet upon the next. Me and Bonnie, with against him, one, always beat us still, but me and Bonnie, I still put him a fight. Him come in. I was one of those persons him talk to. When he talk about Mark, when him on the voice note with Mark not being Prime Minister. I just said, I can't make Mark be Prime Minister of this country. Why would I sit back and make Mark?
Take this away, people. Now, when we talk about the lie, right? Because we all heard the clip that she made reference to as it relates to KD Knight. And this very same clip that Christopher Tufton played. And KD Knight, right, did not say what they are trying to portray. Did not say that. And here she came that she was there and heard that from KD Knight. This is how vindictive and wicked and evil this woman is. Knowing to the fact that we here in social media have heard the clip and where KD Knight had justified the clip. That Christopher Tufton did not play in full. But now she is now saying that she was there. Is to show you how vindictive, wicked, and evil this woman is. The truth about the matter, this woman ate Mark Golden and carries such a bitterness. But look at the true reason as to why she really ate Mark Golden. Look at this. And I'm here saying it now. She going to say it now. The real reason. Look at this, people. Here it is.
Me, and I'm speaking for me now personally, is that to prove the only white man in the PNP, the only person who comes from a leadership of the plantocracy, the only person who has history seeped in the ownership of slaves,
that idea for me is unacceptable. And that is what first motivated me not to support Mark Golding. Plus, Mark Golding have done nothing for the People's National Party. He was always just hanging out down in South St. Andrew with Mama until he got the seat. During his time, his short stint in the People's National Party, Mark Golding has not proven that he has the chops to be a cohesive and unifying leader for the People's National Party. So after identifying those things that I don't agree and would not vote for him on those principles that I just stated,
yes,
he was elected and he still had an opportunity to prove that he can cut it. But Mark Golding is the kind of character that doesn't feel that he should prove anything to us common descendants of slaves. And he is comfortable in that little balloon that he is, and he feels that there's no need to reach forward.
I'm not even going to disrespect her. I am going to speak as it relates to truthfulness. Now, for Karen Cross, right, who once was amongst the People's National Party and said what she just said a while ago, nothing for the People's National Party. I'm going to ask Karen Cross one question, and I want you to answer, Karen Cross. In the history of our political history as it relates to legislations, Karen Cross, tell me which member of parliament that had passed more legislation than Mark Golding. Talk to me, Karen Cross. Karen Cross, I'm asking you a simple question. Point out which member of parliament, which one? Me want you answer me one, Karen Cross, that had passed more legislation, work on most legislation in parliament that running Jamaica structure. Come out with a name. Come out with a name. This goes to show you how vicious and vindictive you are. Now, let me ask you a question. Is Mark Golding is the only white man that lead the People's National Party?
No.
I mean, you don't know your history. You don't know your history, Karen Cross. Eh? Was Norman Manley black? Let me ask you. Since you're talking about PNP, was Norman Manley black? Eh? Was Norman Manley's son black? Michael Manley. Who's Michael Manley? Was Michael Manley black? So what are you talking about plantocracy? That they choose the only white man in the People's National Party to lead the party. You sound confusing. Then why you support the People's National Party and the foundation of Norman Manley? You support it on the foundation of Michael Manley. They are white. Right? British ancestry. British ancestry, Karen Cross. Norman Manley, Michael Manley, right? And Mark Golding. So, in terms of you said what you said, right? Before Bruce Golding, before Mark Golding, I said Bruce Golding, before Mark Golding, didn't you support the party? From a foundation that Norman Manley was white. So let me try to understand, where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Because it sounds that you're confusing to your own self.
Sure.
Because if you have a situation that you are a racist, as it relates to what it looks like you are saying, then I am confused to the fact that you have supported the People's National Party as it relates to Norman Manley ideology, as it relates to Michael Manley political philosophy or ideology, right? You have supported those cars. So then, your reason to hate Mark Golden to the fact that he's the only white man in the People's National Party that they selected. I don't understand where you're coming from with that. You understand? I just can't seem to really rationalize what you're saying. You understand? So it goes to show you that you're caught up in your own bitterness and your own personal hate. And the only thing that I'm seeing is to the fact that Mark Golden is not going down the road. You understand? As it really relates to where you're going, where you're looking hustlings. And hustlings in upon him. And true, you know, some Mark Golden in the hustling business. So where you gone there? You're gone over the hustler to get some hustlings. Right? So these are the things that we're talking about, people. Putting these people on notice and make sure so we push out the information to show these people that they are nonsense, they are stupid, you understand? And trust me, their personal grief in terms of through them food truck cut off. They're totally upset. Mark Golden is not for that. Mark Golden want to lead a nation on principle, integrity, good governance. So stay over, Andrew. Let me bring in Sister Springs to speak up the thing.
Thank you, Uncle Baron. Boy, Jamaica, this woman is a mad woman in a clean clothes. And let me try and rationalize this thing out by going back in the backstory of this woman. This woman, this is why, you know, even our candidates in the PNP, you have to be selective of the people who come around you in your inner circle. You have to be discerning of the spirit of the people who volunteer for your campaign. You have to be selective in the people who work in your campaign. And that's my warning going forward, because we have to learn from our mistakes that we made in the past. And Karen Cross is one of the biggest mistakes ever come across the PNP. Because to my understanding, she volunteered her time to work with a candidate. And while she was working with the candidate, she was instructing the candidate to do something illegal to win the seat. And because our candidate said no, he did not want to use any illegal means to win the seat, she came out strongly against him and started being bitter against the party. So because she wanted to do something illegal and immoral, and because our honest candidate said no to her method to win the seat, that she was helping the person campaigning, she became bitter towards the party. So that's where bitterness starts. And we have seen her being bitter towards other leaders, Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips. And I was at a private meeting when she came in to the meeting, because she was still a member then, although she was giving us problems. And being out there in the media and everything like that, saying all negative things about the party and the leaders and the members of the party. And I remember her coming into a meeting, a private meeting, because she wanted to apologize to us. But the week before she made the apology, she was out there saying negative things about another member of the party. And when she came to apologize to us at the meeting, delegates, including myself, we voted for her not to return to the party. And that's when her membership was removed. So going forward, she has never recovered. Her apology was not sincere. She doubled down against us. Her partner and friend Natalie Stack, they were taken to court for defamation. Defamation suit was won, Karen Cross did not have the money to pay her to pay her to pay her fine, and Natalie Stock is yet to return to Jamaica to pay her fine. Karen Cross had to get donations and set up a GoFundMe to get money to pay her fine. So she's not affluent when it comes to money. She's not financially secure, but yet she uses her mouth, and she's still not learning. It wasn't until our leader Mark Golding come into power, um, into leadership of the party, that disciplinary action was started against her, Karen Cross. All the leaders before, Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson, ignored her. No matter how much tantrum she threw, everything that she did, they just ignored her. And it wasn't until I said Mark Golding and Gensec, Dayton Campbell, disciplined her and started disciplinary action against her. And I have to say, it's sad to say, I have to say this right here and now. Uncle Byron, you know the conversations we have been having over the past week. And you and I know that she is not the only person like this who are presently in the party, who are bitter against other people in the party. And one by one, we have to root them out. Because guess what happens? The longer they stay in the party, they're like a cavity. They get rotten. And then they start to stink up the place like a bad breath. And we have to root them out and expose them. Because you see, if Portia Simpson or Peter Phillips had done what Gensec and Mark Golding did, we wouldn't have this problem continues until today. Because no matter where Karen goes, just some people are just bitter and you cannot get rid of that. It is sad to say some people don't understand what the word comrade means. Comrade means I'm my brother's keeper. Being a comrade means I am your soldier friend. I will help you, I will support you, I will endorse you. It's like how you and I endorse each other out here. Every day we are fighting the battle together. I am your comrade sister, you're my comrade brother, Uncle Byron. Ray Nelson is our comrade brother. Melting Pot is our comrade brother. Radigan is our comrade brother. And we're out here, Bolo, Anne Marie. All those people out here, we can say, hot off the press, we can say they are our comrade brothers and sisters. But there's some of them out here. You know them, just like me. They are bitter. And it's time, I believe the party needs to start standing up and rooting out all these people, just like how they came up publicly from under Mark Golding, and Jensen came up publicly and said she's no longer a member of the PNP. So she no longer represents us, she no longer speaks on our behalf. And there are many more in the party that need to be rooted out right now and be exposed. And I yield the floor to you, Uncle Byron. Because this woman is very wicked in her words. And as I say it, and I will say it again, she is a mad woman in clean clothes. Broad daylight, because Natalie Stock still has her fine to pay. Because how can you be making statements about a person, accusing people of a crime, accusing people of things that they do without fact, without evidence? We come here every day and we can present sources where we get our information from. Anything that Karen Cross said out of her mouth, can it be proven? Where's the facts to back it up? Where's the receipts? Where's the evidence? She accused Mark Gordon of being from the white man with plutocracy background. Where is the proof that his parents or grandparents owned slaves? Where is the proof? The same way she accused Jensek of committing a sexual crime. Right? Where is the proof? Where is the evidence? Where is the witness? And I keep asking people, if you do not have proof of anything, or what you hear is just hearsay, and I'm going to say this to my comrade brothers, if anybody tell you anything, and the person doesn't have the proof to tell you, to show you, second guess the person. Second guess the person. It doesn't matter the person said they're a comrade or a laborite, because some comrades lie, some laborites lie. And it does not matter. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. It doesn't matter if those lips are comrades or laborites. So when people are telling you things about another person, double check the information. Double check the information. And before you start slandering and spreading rumors, double check the information. And I yield the floor to your Uncle Byron.
Well said, my sister Pinks. Love the impact. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those who want to call in us, let us be here for 5 minutes. Right, for any person who want to call in and talk with a mystic sensation. Or Pinks, feel free to do so, because we are going to end it here. And as I said, later will be greater. Later,
yes, man.
Definitely show Jamaica some strong history. And I know a lot of people, they are going to be alarmed, but, you know, and I had done a careful research, bringing out facts. Even myself, I was shocked as it relates to who was delivering that message to us. So they can't say this is rumor, this is a strong JLP person. You understand, who put aside the politics, right, and come out and speak the truth. And trust me, I respect him for that so much, right? I mean, even although, you know, I was shocked to hear that from him, but he came out and he spoke and he defended the truth about the People's National Party. And you know the history, trust me, as it relates to the People's National Party. It's a wonderful history, my Jamaican people. And the truth be told, the People's National Party movements throughout the entire political evolution, right, from the People's National Party exists, from the very mandate that it was existed on, right, to defend poor people of this country, right, and for the following leaders who take on the mandate, that mandate has not been shifted, right? Norman Manley hand over the button to Michael Manley. Michael Manley hand over the button to PJ Patterson. PJ Patterson hand over the button to Portia Simpson. Portia Simpson hand over the button to Peter Phillips. And from Peter Phillips to Mark Foley. That philosophy, my friend, has never changed. Has never changed. And I am seeing, right, as it relates to a couple of our African countries, like Burkina Faso, right, is traveling in the same ideology of Norman and Michael Manley and the entire People's National Party. And I said, look at Ibrahim Traoré standing up for his people. Standing up for his people. What we have seen Andrew Holness had done, even at the UN, honestly, my Jamaican people, shock that you would side with Israel, right? Your Andrew Holness centrist politics is not going to work in this era, right? And so then he has to find farm, and him siding with Israel, saying the very same thing what Donald Trump had said when we talk about Black Lives Matters. Yes. Right? Donald Trump also came out and said, Blue Lives Matters. Nobody was going against the police. He was talking about extrajudicial killing. A man knelt in a black man's neck and decided, telling the world that no one can save him. He determined whether he lives or die. And he knelt before the world and have him executed because they feel that they're entitled. When you see the amount of damage that Israel done unto Palestine, and Andrew Wallace is saying that both sides do this and both sides do that under the pretext to defend Israel's cruelty. It's a travesty in terms of what we have seen. And we see the Barbados Prime Minister came out and called a spade a spade. She spoke it as it is. That is one of the reasons why we need to respect our ladies. From history, our ladies, showing that the ladies have balls. I don't know what the men have. Some of the men them have. But Nia Motley came out, called a spade, and state her policy position. And Jonas just swim around and, don't want to hurt Buckmaster. Don't want to hurt the USA position. I'm sorry for Jamaica, having a weak jellybug prime minister. Michael Manley. And remember, the People's National Party state their position clear enough. So no one can say the People's National Party no state their position as it relates to Israel and Palestine. The People's National Party has spoken out about the travesty what the jellybug Prime Minister defending corruption, defending criminality, defending genocide against our children. Cruelty, evil. But how can I expect anything better from the Jamaica Labour Party when they put more than 150 women to death in the Edentine school? How can I expect anything better? Many Jamaicans who are supporting the Jamaica Labour Party, you need to read your history. But however, anyway, later when I come out, people, you are going to be shocked. So let me just tune up. And I want to say a big thanks to all my wonderful people who come out and supporting this channel. Without you, this channel can't stand up, So each one of you who are supporting Mystic Sensation, supporting Spinks, supporting a melting pot, just knock yourself on the shoulder. You have done us an awesome service, right? And we love you all. Continue to follow us. We appreciate everything what you have done. You energize us to come out, and we are happy, right, for that, as it relates to the willingness in fighting for our brothers and sisters. Sister Springs, what do you have to say for close? And then we forward later. All right, close us out.
So thanks all the people watching and tuning in. And we will see you later at 7 p.m. Jamaican time.
All right. Yes. Love you. All right. Thank you, people. That's it. All right. Blessing. I'm out.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right to start that stupid argument.
hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.